right.
Dylan Thomas Vance right here on guitar, guys.
Jeremy Wilson live in the Bing Lounge. You guys, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it.
This is a great crowd.
Isn't it beautiful? Beautiful crowd on a beautiful day. That's what I say. Take a moment, introduce the gentlemen that are on stage with you.
Well, back here we have our producer, Sean Flora. He produced the beautiful album that we made. And Sean and I have been friends for a long, long time, and is just a wonderful, he's got a great, even though we recorded the record at my studio, he also has a beautiful studio out on Savi's Island there. This is Dylan Thomas Vance. He is well known for his own music as well. And,
howdy.
Dylan and I go way back too. He was in an awesome band back in the day called Dow Jones, the Dharma Bums, and Dow Jones used to play together all the time. And then just another dear old friend, Luke Strahota, here on drums. And got to check out his band, the Satin Chaps. Those guys rock. I'm telling you what. And then this is Matthew Rochford on electric guitar and bass, electric bass and electric.
These things over here is what I think.
All of that whole setup, that whole get up. And you are, of course, Jeremy Wilson. Fun fact, Sean Flora and I, Facebook friends.
I forgot.
Oh, I never forget. Boom. How you like that?
She knows the true meaning of friendship, Sean.
It's true. I know. I do. You can ask everybody in here. They're all my friends. Anyways, so you recorded the new album, which is called Empty Through Empty Spaces, at your...
Empty Space.
Through Empty Space, excuse me. I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself. What can I say? So you recorded at your own studio. I was wondering where you did that, if you did it at one of the other ones around town or not.
On a big old 2-inch tape deck. It's the reel-to-reel, so it's the old analog tape deck.
Yeah.
And I've owned a recording studio here in town since around 2000. It's called Must On. It was called Must On Music, but now it's called the JWF, the Jeremy Wilson Foundation.
Right, which we will get to in just one moment as well. I definitely want you to tell everybody about that. So that's all I was wondering if it was at a studio that you maybe had done some Dharma Bum stuff at, but guess not.
No, although the Dharma Bums appear on the new album, and the track I Can't Bury You is the four of us. That's the Dharma Bums on
That's
there.
awesome. Little reuniting going on there. That's cool. Quick Dharma Bums question, because you read you believe everything you read on the internet. That you guys, you kind of paved the way for the grunge scene here in the Northwest. And true, false, Courtney and Kurt met at a Dharma Bums gig. Is that one of those internet urban legends?
I mean, if she's saying it on Oprah, it could be true. I don't know.
It could be true if it's said on Oprah. Wow, that's true.
That scene. It's amazing the Northwest music scene. I mean, because I started playing music out here in Silverton, Oregon, Scotts Mills out here. And back when I was just 14 years old with two of the other members from the Dharma Bums, and we were called the Watchmen.
Right.
And we were just kids, and we knew about 250 songs. And so we would play at high school dances, we'd play at bars, we'd play Grange halls and do all this stuff. And just over the years, I mean, like when we were 14 and 15 years old, people like Scott McCoy from the Young Fresh Fellows, who is in -5 now and stuff, he literally was aware of us and discovered us back then. So by the time we were like 18 years old, we were already going up to Seattle and working in recording studios up there. And so along the line, we were meeting people like the Nirvana guys or everybody.
Nice.
We played with everybody. We got to play with our heroes, and REM, who had been out for many, many years before that. They were so sweet to us, and they just were like, "Who are you young kids, and why are you making such
come
loud,
hang out under our
boisterous-"
wing?
Yeah, come on, And so we had some great mentors, and that was what was I think really special about the time, and special about the music sort of not being known, not being commercial. It was just we all had to. I like to say, you have the internet now, so everybody feels like, oh, I'll put up a Facebook page and I'll contact 1,000 people. Well, the internet back then was getting in your van and driving on that freeway, and if you didn't play 250 or more shows a year like we used to do, you wouldn't meet people.
And look at who you met along the way, the types of Peter Buck, like you said, and Nirvana. What a cool time. So now you are, speaking of cool, you are doing something pretty cool, the Jeremy Wilson Foundation. Explain that.
Well, gosh, 6 or 7 years ago, I mean, for many years I had been dealing with I'd been passing out, and you'd think that, well, why don't you go to the doctor and stuff? But I was, like I just mentioned, playing, almost several hundred shows a year, and was kind of chalking it up to basically road exhaustion, maybe drinking too much alcohol, whatever, late nights, and I love statistics. I don't know. I think I've sat in a van too much in my life. But, the average trip we used to do was about 500 miles a day in traveling. So can you imagine traveling 10 hours a day, playing for a 5 or 7 hour period? I mean, you only got 2-hour gig, but you've got all that time that you're there.
Yeah.
And then trying to either get to your hotel or sleep on somebody's couch and then get up and go do it again, right? So about 6 or 7 years ago, I passed out at a restaurant on my way to a Fernando show just to go be a fan, and I wake up to the sniffing salts and stuff, and get in the ambulance, and the paramedic got all excited. They're like, "Oh, I've never seen this before!" But my EKG was doing a weird thing, and they're like, "You have Wolff Parkinson White," and I'm like, "What's that?"
Whoa.
And it's like a congenital heart condition. And here I was in my late 30s and didn't know. And so I'm like, "Don't take me to the hospital. I don't have insurance. I can't afford it." And they're like, "No, man, you're in a life-death situation. We're taking you to the hospital." And when the word got out, people started, and I was actually in a pretty low period in my career, and I felt low,
Right.
And all of a sudden this community, Portland, Oregon, I mean, just hundreds of people, I'm getting chills telling you guys this story, started to send money, put together, benefits and stuff like that. But what happened was we did a big benefit, and then it was like on the end of December, and in the beginning of January, the club that we played at sent me a 1099 miscellaneous form for the income that I had made that night, and all of a sudden had to pay a couple $1,000s extra in the stuff, and I just thought that was really bizarre and weird. And then I started thinking, like, how come I'm in this situation? I must play 50 benefits a year, and stuff like that. And I mean, not to mention the fact that musicians are self-employed, and so we're treated that way. And anyway, so to make a long story short, I just realized that there was a real need for an organization that was there for musicians, that for when they find themselves in times of medical emergency. And we've been together about 5 years. Last year, I think we gave out about $150,000 worth of assistance.
Wow, congratulations. That's huge. Very cool. And then, of course, you're giving back. We have you on our KINK Lives, our KINK Homegrown album.
Yeah, I'm thrilled about
number
that.
7, yeah. I know you and I have been going back and forth in emails for like the last 3 months, and this is the first time we've ever met. So, well, thank you again, and thank you for being part of Homegrown. And then also, Empty Through Empty Space is out.
Yes.
And we will actually see you guys. Make sure you mark your calendars for noon, July 15th. You guys are going to be doing noon tunes for us as well.
We're going to be doing the trio here.
Woo, the trio.
Yep.
Sweet.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to let you guys do what you do. Thank you, Jeremy, for coming to the Bing Lounge.
Oh, thanks for having us, Shelley.